My name is Scarlet. I've always been a good singer, ever since I was little. My father is also a popular singer. He took off with his first 2 songs. The lyrics were just delightful. For my 5th birthday, my father gave me a microphone with my initials on it. In high school, I performed at every event. I was the most popular singer. Then one day I came to school and I noticed everyone looking at their phone and admiring it. Who are they looking at like that? I wondered. I had to go to the principal's office to deliver the promised pie recipe for my mom, but some guy was sitting there.
Oh, Scarlet, I'd like you to meet Nathan. Can you believe it? He sings too. He just blew up the internet. We've got lucky because he's coming to our school now.
I watched his satisfied face with my displeased one. I left my recipe and went out into the hallway. Everyone was listening to him sing. I snatched the phone out of the hands of a passing nerd and listened. Gosh, even you listened to that? I asked the nerd indignantly. I'm the popular girl at school myself, and that's not going to change. I started re-watching this video more closely and discovered one little detail that only a picky professional like me would notice. I was waiting for him at the gate of the school when he came closer, grabbed him by his collar, and led him around the corner. Because of you, my performance was canceled. Cancel or you'll regret it. I've waited all year for this celebration at school, and I won't let you be the main entertainer on my stage. But Nathan just laughed in my face.
What, are you losing your popularity? It's just a school,
he told me, and left. That's it. He asked for it. When the concert came on, everyone was looking forward to Nathan's last number. He came on stage and the auditorium exploded. Everyone was holding up his picture and posters of him. I stood backstage and watched him bathe in applause. As he sang, I stealthily walked past the consoles and speakers. I was pretending I was just walking around and drinking lemonade, and then I was like, oops, and I tripped and supposedly accidentally spilled the lemonade on the equipment. One of the speakers malfunctioned, and everyone heard Nathan yelling and singing in his already real nasty voice. He didn't realize it right away, yelling like a lunatic. I laughed, and the audience sat in shock. The director fainted. Well, after that, I was popular again. Nathan kept coming to my school, but he looked like a gray mouse, quieter than everyone else. I even felt a little sorry for him, so I went over and asked him how he was, but all I heard in response was rebuke that I had done it on purpose. But you were faking. You lied to everybody and sang with a phonogram, I said. Nathan said nothing. He walked away, and I noticed that he had dropped his wallet. I found his address there, so I decided to give it back to him tonight. That night, the door was opened by Nathan. He obviously wasn't expecting to see me, and I heard his mother screaming that he was talentless and that he was a bad son. Nathan took his wallet and slammed the door in my face. I felt even more sorry for him then. His mother is scolding him because he failed at the concert? I thought, and I felt sorry for him. And then I had an idea. I met Nathan again outside the school and offered to help, to tell him that he had potential and that I could help him realize it. He was delighted and thanked me for his wallet too. We met in the studio that my father bought for me. I started working with him and he learned quickly. Within a couple of weeks, he was singing amazingly. Nathan looked happy and so did I. He even got prettier. Now my heart raced every time I watched him sing. I have an idea.
What is it?
I'll do a street concert for you and me. That'd be great. Let's do it tonight.
You think I'm ready?
More than ready. We met in the evening downtown, did a few songs, and gathered so many people around us. Everyone applauded when we finished singing, and then Nathan froze. What happened? I asked, seeing his pale face. In the middle of the crowd stood his disgruntled mother. She came up to him and told him that he was incapable of anything and that he was a hypocrite.
How could you sing with her?
She asked, pointing her finger at me. Ma'am, your son sings beautifully and you should be proud of his accomplishments, I said, and she freaked out.
We don't need handouts from you or your father,
she shouted and snatched my microphone from my hands. No! That's all I had time to say before she threw it on the ground. It shattered in a second. She took Nathan away and I sat down and cried, for it was my favorite microphone. The next day, Nathan came to my studio with an apology and a new one.
I'm sorry. My mom, she's sorry too. My mom always wanted to sing, but her dream didn't come true. She got sick because of, well, never mind.
Anyway, she wanted me to be a better singer, but she doesn't realize that it's all thanks to you and that you're better than me anyway. You're amazing, and I'll never... He didn't finish because I kissed him. Nathan's mom called, and he left. In the evening, I went online and saw something unbelievable. I immediately rushed to his house to tell him about it. I rang and rang the doorbell, and then his mom opened the door. The smile immediately fell off my face. "What do you want?" "Hello, Mrs. Rawling. Is Nathan home?"
"No, and he won't be. He doesn't live here anymore."
How? Where is he?"
"Far away, at my brother's farm. You don't have to come here anymore."
"But Mrs. Rawling, you can't do that to him." She tried to close the door, but I put my foot up. "Don't you think you're being too hard on him? You wanted him to sing, and he sings. He's trying his best. Can't you see that?"
"You want to teach me something? I know how to bring up my own son."
"You're cruel to him. If you are sick and have not been able to fulfill your dreams, it does not mean that your son is bad, especially since he's doing so well."
"What did you say? Are you sick? If it wasn't for your father..."
She didn't finish. She felt sick and squeezed her heart with her hand and sat down on the floor. I got scared and called an ambulance, then went with her to the hospital. An hour later, Nathan arrived, covered in sweat and frightened. I was the one who called him and told him everything. I apologized for driving his mom crazy, but he hugged me and told me it wasn't my fault. While they were doing the surgery, we were sitting in the hallway. I was lying with my head in Nathan's lap, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but I was happy to have him around, even if it was at that moment.
"She has a heart problem because of one nervous incident. She used to write songs and she couldn't sing, but she wrote lyrics. They were amazing,"
Nathan said. I was surprised. But what happened? Why did she get sick? Nathan did not have time to answer. The doctor came out and said that the operation was a success, but then the hospital bill was presented.
"Damn, so much,"
Nathan said. The doctor said he still had time to find the money, and left. The next day, they let us in to see his mother. She wasn't happy to see me, but I came and helped anyway. When she felt better, I came again, only without Nathan this time. "Good morning, Mrs. Rawling. I'm alone today. Nathan has some things to take care of." "Oh, are you reading anything yet?" I spoke to her, but she ignored me. Then the doctor came in, called her in for procedures, and a notebook fell out of the bed. When she left, I picked it up and saw some notes. I flipped through it and a shiver ran through my body. What is this? I ran home and made a scene with my father.
Your songs, all your hits! Who wrote them?"
I yelled. Dad was dodging the question, trying to calm me down.
"You stole them from Mrs. Rawling, didn't you? How do you know her?" "Father, you stole the lyrics from her. She got sick after that. You just stood her up." "I didn't bail on her. We went out, she gave me those songs. And then I sang them and I was successful. It wasn't my fault she didn't fit in with my plans anymore."
God, Nathan knew all this. He knew and he kept quiet because he has a conscience and integrity towards me. Unlike you, everything you have now is because of her.
"Everyone survives the best they can."
It hurt me to hear that. I went to the hospital and closed the entire hospital bill. The doctor told Nathan about it. "It's okay. I know everything. It's my fault too. First, my dad drove her to it, and now me. I sold the car. It's okay," I said. Nathan hugged me. "Why didn't you tell me?"
"First, I wanted revenge, and then I fell in love with you."
When his mom woke up, we were sitting next to each other.
"What is she doing here?" "Mom, she didn't know. I didn't tell her anything. She paid all your medical bills, and also, we're dating." First, his mom made a disgruntled face. Then she looked at me and said, "You're different, not like your father." "Thank you." "Why are you sitting there? She's hungry. Go feed her," she said to her son. So we became friends. At the discharge, my father came to ask her for forgiveness.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emilia. I have an interesting story that happened, and it is connected with my crush. Yes, it was exciting enough. Too much so. Tell me, would you like to be in the same room with your crush? That's what I wanted, and I got. Should I tell you all the details? Then listen and watch. By the way, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, write comments under the video. In general, for several years, I liked the same person. His name is Michael. Wow, he's just an unreal beauty. I immediately realized that he was my crush, and since then, my heart has not accepted anyone else. At the same time, I knew that I would never be able to win his attention because girls like me are too simple for him. He has more popular girlfriends, bitches with money, and most often, their parents are big businessmen. What about me? Nothing. I have long lived only with my father. He has been divorced from my mother for many years, so I stayed with him. Or rather, my mother left me with him herself. As she said, she needed to settle her personal life, so I became a ballast. With my father, life has always been measured. There are no risks or hints of adventure. Dad just loves to keep everything under control and never rummaged in women's fashion. So if you've ever seen a girl with short hair, no manicure, in a men's t-shirt and jeans with sneakers, it's probably me, or someone with a very similar fate as me. In short, there weren't many girls who liked to hang out with me either, but I did have one friend, a friend for ages. His name is Simon. This is the same person who always supported me, was there for me, gave me advice, constantly listened to my mental sufferings, and tried to help. I am grateful to fate for giving me such a cool man, because not every day can you boast of a sincere, warm relationship, especially between a boy and a girl. But we could. Simon always gave me advice on what to do and how to get my crush's attention. And this year, we decided to take drastic measures. You have to completely change your image of clothes, style, hairstyle, and everything else. You can see for yourself what girls are his taste, more feminine and bright, he said to me. And I thought, really? Is it time to start acting? Why have I been living only in dreams all these years? What's stopping me from trying? Nothing, just my prejudices. Simon was delighted with my fighting spirit. So before the first day of school, we went to beauty salons and shops. God, I've never spent so many hours on my looks in my life. I not only had a manicure with a pedicure, I removed all the extra hair on my head, did my makeup, and I had a number of procedures in the spa department. In general, the work was carried out colossally, and in the end, I put on a chic dress to the knees. It was dark blue, and I was wearing heels, and I looked amazing. It took me a moment to recognize myself in the mirror, and when Simon saw me, his mouth dropped open in surprise. On the first day of school, we went to school and I appeared in front of Michael in this form. He was delighted, said hello, gave me a lot of compliments, and immediately invited me to a party on the same day in honor of the beginning of the school year. I agreed and told him I'd come with Simon. Well, you can take it, he said to me, and I was glad. At home, I changed my clothes, and in the evening, we already went to the party. Simon offered me a plan of decisive action. He said that he would lock me in a room with my crush, and this could create a certain mood. I wanted him to fall in love with me, maybe kiss me, and we could start dating. Michael was perfect. As soon as we entered the house, he greeted me with a warm hug, handed me a punch, and led me to the dance floor. We danced for about 30 minutes, and then he started showing me around the house. He had a huge house that you could even get lost in. A little drunk, I didn't really know where to go. And then Michael led me into his bedroom and asked me to lie down so that I could move a little. Simon, as promised, as soon as we entered the room, locked it, and we were left alone. My heart was pounding in a frenzied rhythm. I was ready to faint with excitement, and only Michael's embrace did not allow me to collapse to the floor. He kissed me, but it wasn't like I'd imagined. The kiss was not sincere. It was too assertive, rude, and I did not like it. He kissed me again and again, and then he pushed me toward the bed, and I fought back. I told him not to do it, and he was like, "Don't tell me that's not why you came to me." At that moment came my utter disappointment in him. How could he say that, and why was he acting like a pig? I stepped aside to open the door, but he wouldn't let me. He started grabbing my hands, my hair, and tried to kiss me again, but I screamed at him to let me go. Michael didn't hear me. He was like a zombie, talking only about his beauty and the fact that there were thousands of people like me. I wanted to cry at what was happening. Did my crush really turn out to be so nasty and worthless? Just as I was about to go out again, he pushed me and I fell to the floor. At this point, Simon ran into the room. He did not look at the fact that Michael is taller than him by a head and pumped up. He stood up for me, got a fist in the face, did not fall, held on, and told me to run home. I screamed when the fight started. Simon lost. He got a few hard punches in the face, and I thought he was going to die. I lunged at Michael from behind and bit his shoulder, and he left Simon and threw me to the floor. Then he got up, called us freaks, and left the room. Simon and I were walking home in a terrible mood, and Simon still had his face ripped open. It was the worst party of our lives. It was actually the first one of our lives. Anyway, we didn't even really want to talk about it, but I just asked that we never think about Michael again. A couple of days later, we met again and I went to school with Simon. Unexpectedly for me, he asked, "What did you like about him?" I knew immediately who he was talking about, but it was so unusual for me to answer such a question. Then I realized that I hadn't asked myself that question, because I just liked Michael because he was so handsome, so popular, and so confident. But I didn't know the qualities that were in him. This little analysis calmed my supposedly broken heart a little. Yes, you're right. I didn't quite break it, but still, I felt so bad from the disappointment. When we got to the school, Michael was standing there with his boys. He was angry with me for rejecting him and decided to confront me. "Did you change into a kid again? What? Did they force you to return the stolen things?" he asked sarcastically. I threw a look at him and walked past him, then Simon stopped. "Oh no, Simon, come on," I said, not wanting him to get another slap in the face because of me. But Simon went up to Michael and said that he would never meet a girl like me in his life, that there is no girl more intelligent, feminine, and gentle than me, that being near me is already happiness, and all because I have a beautiful soul, a kind heart, and I'm just wonderful. "You're just not worthy of her. No one is worthy of her at all, and only jerks like you, Michael, can just take brute force to demand a return kiss or hug. But you don't deserve it," he said. At this point, Michael and his boys started laughing wildly at Simon, calling us a couple of freaks in love and shouting at us to invite them to the wedding. But I didn't care because in my head, I replayed the words of my best friend who has been with me for so many years, never failed, and was always kind, and God, why hadn't I thought of this before? I suddenly realized that a real person with the best intentions has been around me all these years. We went into the classroom and I sat down next to Simon, and when the teacher came in, I took his hand under the table. He smiled. So, sometimes true happiness is much closer than we can imagine.